Hey, Stephen Yunter here in West Brookfield, Massachusetts, my little model studio here. One cool model that came out about 3 years ago is the 1971 Boss 351 Mustang by Revell, a totally new tool that was available in two shapes. This is one that came out for Revell of Europe, Germany. Kind of weird, it's a flat box. Same basic kit inside, but one difference is this kit here does have some weird instructions, and they're great instructions, a lot of pictures and stuff, and fully detailed with illustrations, and also the decals in this thing are for the German car with German license plates. Otherwise, the metal parts, the plastic parts inside of this kit are the same ones you'll find in the American release, which we have right here. These are a little less expensive. This was about 48 bucks. This is like 35, 36 bucks. So the same piece of plastic inside. And this is one of these kits fully built by Eddie Wentworth, great model builder right here, Boss 351. He did the decals. And in fact, the decals on the hood, that's not paint, that's the decal. His son Evan used some decal setting solution to get the decals to fit inside of the ram air ducts on the hood. But the chassis detail, nicely done by Eddie Wentworth, great model builder. Great paint on the butterscotch paint, underhood details, really nicely rendered. Dual exhaust system, of course, a 9-inch rear axle, 4-speed transmissions. All of these Boss 351s are 4-speed cars, no automatics. So very cool, nicely done. But my world is kind of weird. Before I move on to that, by the way, there's also an AMT Boss 351 model, this one right here. I will say, don't be fooled. It's not the same kit by any stretch. Now, AMT is good, not as good as Revell, I have to say. This kit kind of, it shares some of its parentage with MPC. There's also an MPC Mustang 71, 72. But it's not the same, really. It's kind of, it's not as nearly nicely done. And it has, the chassis on these is not as good as the one on the Revell kit. So basically, if you're going to build one of these things, get the Revell kit. Just do it. But with that said, while stock builds are nice, you guys may know me. I'm kind of an altered wheelbase freak, a fanatic about them. So what I had to do with mine was I bought a second, and I did an altered wheelbase of it. You can see the front and rear wheel openings have been shoved forward. The back, probably about, a little bit. You can see the front one a lot. And the surgery is done, but the body work is not done. That comes after I mock up the chassis and everything like that. In fact, I had to buy a second body to forfeit and scounge the body panels right here. I sacrificed another body to get the filler panels, because to try to form these out of sheet stock, not a good idea. So for 40 bucks, just get another model, slice the pieces you need, and create the fillers right like that. And the great thing about this model, the chassis on this is very nicely rendered, and I haven't done the chassis redo yet. And in fact, what'll happen soon is I'll slice a section out of here to replicate the rear axle move, and then up front, probably a straight axle. I'm going to replicate Sam Auxiers or Auxiers. You spell it the way you want to. A-U-X-I-E-R. Is it Auxier or Auxier? I don't know. Anyway, but he had a 71 Pro Stock Mustang with a Boss 429 and or a Camry, depending on what season it was. It wasn't very successful. It was a big car for Pro Stock. Big 71 Mustang. It's a big car. Meanwhile, other guys are running Mavericks and, smaller vehicles. But anyway, this will be my vision of Sam Auxier's 71 Pro Stock Mustang. He did actually have one. There's a diecast, an 18th scale, beautiful diecast of the car, which is cool. But speaking of building these things, when I do these, I have certain go-to parts. I'm going to use Hilborn injection. And the Mobius 65 Dodge and Plymouth funny cars have these beautiful injectors, but they're chrome plated from the kit. So I put these in some oven cleaner and let them sit for a couple of days. A toothbrush, an old one, don't use it again after you clean it. And the chrome is gone. And then they can be sprayed flat aluminum and detailed properly. And of course, the wheels in the Mobius 65 Dodge and Plymouth kits are beautiful. The torque thrust wheels are nice, but they're chromed and it's kind of heavy. Once again, break out the oven cleaner and you get this result right here. And then from these, you can spray them and put some brush-on chrome and magnesium for the spokes and make them look very much more realistic than these, which are way too shiny, kind of too blingy. So strip them down, do a better job. So these wheels and tires with skinnies up front, probably Johan turbine car skinnies up front, and some, fairly wide wrinkle walls in the back will be underneath this thing when it's done. So to be continued on this thing here. And once again, the challenge here will be replicating Sam Auxier. What he did, he had a white stripe down the middle, red on this side, and then red or blue on this side. So red, white, and blue, very patriotic. So the painting, the masking, that's going to be an animal. But I'll do it. And with that said, the body work on this thing is going to be a challenge as well, but I've got plenty of shaping, standing sticks and whatnot. So to be continued on this model here. So that's the story of how I'm keeping busy, still able to alter wheelbase cars, not in full size, but in 1/25th scale. So look for this one pretty soon when I get it done. Even in process, I'll have more videos for you to watch.